Yeah. So what's the most recent book you've read?
Most recent book?
Yes.
I've read probably a James Patterson, but I couldn't tell you.
How did you feel about it?
Oh, I love James Patterson.
Why?
Because it's suspenseful and it makes you think who did the crime, and it just keeps you on the edge. It's got a little romance, a little bit of everything.
I think that's what the author wanted.
I think so. And I think people like that, and people tend to read his books, so I think that's what he was after.
Intentions, basically.
Correct. And the author's intentions in James Patterson, which I do like to read, are always pretty much the same. So I almost go in knowing that there's going to be a twist, because that's what he does all the time. So I'm kind of anticipating it. It's the pattern of James Patterson. Yes.
How does it relate to today's society?
To today's society, or why did he want to write it? Because I think they want to write it maybe because that's what they believe in. I mean, that is, and they want to kind of persuade others to believe in that. And if they make it a good book, and I mean, it may give you other viewpoints that you hadn't thought about. Maybe that's why he's writing it. Or he could be writing it because he totally disagrees with it and wants to show you the
when
bad.
we read books, we annotate and highlight and underline. So what techniques do you use when reading to fully comprehend the text? Do you go back and...
You know what, I was just going to say, the one thing I would do, because when I read, I stop at a chapter. I don't stop in between a chapter. That is, I just can't do that. Now I find what I do have to do is go back to that end of that chapter, especially if it's been any time at all between the readings. Now, if I were to read it, but I still go back to that previous end of the chapter and see what it ended with. If it isn't good at the beginning, I find a very hard time finishing it. I don't have time to get into a book. It needs to get me pretty quick. That's where James Patterson gets you pretty good. Though Miss Mobley probably would not like me reading James Patterson. That's probably not the best. Sorry, Miss Mobley.